Dimandz, and in today's episode of Daisy Deep Dive, we are diving into another Latent Places video. Latent Places is a AI horror ARG TikTok series. I will link them down below. They are on TikTok, but they have other stuff. I think they have a link tree as well. Not sponsored, I just like the stuff that they do. And the weird, creepy AI that comes out of this is insane. So sit back and relax while I tell you about Latent Places.
Mannequins can materialize spontaneously. Beware of sudden unexpected movements. Walk slowly in the vicinity of mannequins. If a mannequin spots you, stand still immediately until its attention focuses elsewhere. This has been a public service announcement from the Ministry of Latent Places.
Well, what can I say about the mannequins other than they are absolutely frightening? Humanoid mannequins that walk on their own in groups or in packs. So weird, so scary, uncanny valley.
Peepers. Reports of these disembodied ocular entities have increased in recent weeks. Peepers congregate almost exclusively in residential areas. If sighted in your neighborhood, promptly close all blinds and curtains. If encountering a peeper while outdoors, avoid direct eye contact at all costs. Effects of prolonged exposure are still being determined. This has been a public service announcement from the Ministry of Latent Places.
I'm not gonna lie, if I saw a gigantic eyeball just in the street, I would be freaked out. How is it actually looking at you? Does it have an ocular nerve? What the hell is it?
Certification. A genetic mutation of unknown origin is infecting female residents of a small Maryland town. Initial effects appear to be solely superficial. However, local officials have confirmed reports of increased muricide in the area. This has been a public service announcement from the Ministry of Latent Places.
So I googled certification, and basically it's just a type of genome of deer, and it's only affecting women, and they are committing muricide, which I think is killing of one's husband.
Carp. These spiky water dwellers are attracted to hotel pools. It is thought that the high chlorine content of these pools are a necessary component of the creature's metabolic system. Beware of stepping into the shallow end without properly checking for their presence. Their spikes can pierce skin and cause acute chlorine poisoning. This has been a public service announcement from the Ministry of Latent Places.
I love these chlorocarp. I think it's so cute. They live in hotel pools, so rundown hotels, and they have pools feeding into that liminal space. They are fish of liminal space. They are brilliant.
Sunborn elders, LP.2684-C, could be accessed via the broom closet inside Mr. G's custom upholstery in Las Cruces, New Mexico. This Class C pocket dimension was once inhabited by an ancient and powerful group known as the Sunborn Elders. What led to the downfall of the Elders is unknown. Their descendants can still be found wandering the ruins of their forefathers' lost civilization. This has been a public service announcement from the Ministry of Latent Places.
This is a pocket dimension that can be accessed through an upholstery shop in New Mexico. And oh my god, this pocket dimension reminds me so much of Star Wars. And the Sunborn Elders are like this nomadic group. Its origin of downfall was unknown.
War eaters. These intimidating entities could be found roaming the grassy hills of the Aleutian Islands in Alaska. War eaters have hardened exoskeletons and have demonstrated extreme feats of strength during observation. They are thought to have been warriors of an ancient and buried civilization. Little is known of the lost city, but geologic and archaeological evidence suggests that, driven by a divine oath to protect their land from invaders, war eaters exhumed themselves from their untimely grave by excavating up through the earth using their bare hands. Fragments of linguistic evidence have also been uncovered in the area that appear to make mention of the warriors. Rough translations of the texts refer to the beings as the ones who feast on war, aka war eaters. Physical traces of the war eaters have been carbon dated to 24,000 BCE. This has been a public service announcement from the Ministry of Latent Places.
So, war eaters are exactly what their name says on the tin. They are eaters of war, they are protectors, and they drag themselves up through the earth. So they dig themselves out of their own graves to protect people in times of war. And they look kind of like a D&D creature.
Cat rats. These glassy feline rodent hybrids belong to a multi-generational colony residing in the Walnut Street Post Office in Corning, New York. Approximately 80 of these adaptable creatures have made their home among the stacks of mail and parcels that pass through the building each day. Cat rats are social animals and spend their days playing, eating, and lounging alongside post office employees during normal operating hours. As cat rats show no interest in hunting mice, their diet primarily consists of food provided to them by workers, local shelters, and Corning residents. However, at night the colony has been observed leaving the post office to disappear into the surrounding area. As evidenced by found remains, it appears as though cat rats use the cover of night to stalk and hunt the local coyote population purely for sport. This particular USPS location has one of the highest employee retention rates in the country. Hygiene is an issue that is reportedly being addressed. This has been a public service announcement from the Ministry of Latent Places.
Cat rats, the splice of a cat and a rat who hunts coyotes, also partial to staying in mail rooms and UPS rooms. And I don't know what you have in your country, but it would be Royal Mail for us.
Swine men. MLP investigators have reported increased violent activity in the bayous of Louisiana. Evidence suggests that the string of killings are ritualistic in nature. Authorities have uncovered cages, chains, and other murderous implements hidden deep within the dense marshland. Surviving victims report being attacked by pig-like male humanoids of a tall stature after being stalked and terrorized for multiple hours. It is still being determined whether the slime men are humans dressed in elaborate costumes or if they are errant and aggressive ruminative entities. Slime men have only been reported to be active at night, and the moon is thought to be a core component of the group's rituals. Therefore, it is not advised to be in the vicinity after sundown without an armed defense strategy. Accounts indicate that slime men travel as individuals and wield blunt and bladed weapons. Threat levels for the area have been increased to Class A, travel at one's own risk. This has been a public service announcement from the Ministry of Latent Places.
These actually freak me out. Swine men. I can't even. They would be such a good, serial killer show or film.
Redheads. The California Department of Food and Agriculture is reporting the appearance of human-like denticulations in recent vegetable crops being grown in the town of Arroyo Grande. Colloquially being referred to as vedheads, these strange organisms were discovered when local farmers were awakened Saturday night by the sounds of shrill screaming echoing from their fields and gardens. Vedheads appear to respond to physical stimuli, possess basic motor functions, and are capable of primitive vocalization primarily in the form of their aforementioned wailing. Researchers are proceeding with caution and acting under the assumption that the produce is capable of experiencing physical and perhaps emotional pain. Therefore, there is no available data on their edibility or flavor profile. Although the official cause of their growth is unknown, our satellite feeds indicate increased vehicular activity near the Campidonico Ranch uranium occurrence southeast of Arroyo Grande. This has been a public service announcement from the Ministry of Latent Places.
To the person who commented that I left the veg heads out, do not worry, here are the veg heads. They are one of my favourites in the Latent Places series, and I don't think they're going to be good for vegetarians. I think they're going to have some moral issues on this.
Vultures. These undead alien entities have been spotted throughout the wilderness of Michigan. Seen here in infrared grain footage obtained by the MLP vultures exhibit multiple features of advanced necrosis, including decomposing flesh, disintegrating feathers, exposed bone mass, and tachoir. The ailment is thought to be cryonic in nature, somehow originating from the creature's macabre eating habits. Although vultures are naturally driven to exhibit aggressive behavior towards other bird species, they do not currently appear to be a direct risk to humans unless threatened. Ministry necroepidemiologists are concerned, however, about the possibility of zoonosis given the right circumstance. If one encounters a vulture, maintain a safe distance in order to minimize the likelihood of cross-species transmission. Under no circumstance should one agitate or instigate a vulture in any way. If provoked, vultures will respond with extreme violent intent regardless of species. This has been a public service announcement from the Ministry of Latent Places.
So, vultures, which are Big Bird's zombie cousin, I would say, they are violent if provoked, and because of what they eat, they could pass a disease on to people.
Choplins. These strange alien entities could be found dwelling in the cliffside above Sitka, Alaska. Known for their exceptionally long lifespan, Choplins remain in adolescence until about age 30 and live to 180 years on average. Choplins spend the majority of their lives as flightless creatures, learning to scramble and climb among the steep rocks of their home at a young age. Only at about age 120 do elder Choplins fully develop the anatomy necessary for flight. Choplins primarily feed on insects and smaller birds, but have been known to venture down into the nearby city to scavenge among the trash of residents. If one encounters a Choplin, simply scold it in a low-pitched voice while making disapproving gesticulations. Choplins find this rude and will promptly scurry or fly away. If the Choplin emits a high-pitched screech while fleeing, quickly cover your ears. This high-decibel defense tactic could cause severe hearing damage. This has been a public service announcement from the Ministry of Latent Places.
I love these Choplins. I think they are so cute, even though they're ugly buggly. I think they're so adorable, and I think people would agree with me. They're really shy, they live forever, they only fly when they're 120, they have such cute little naked bodies, like little naked mole rats, but they're birds.
Clamheads. Authorities in Santa Cruz, California are reporting the appearance of sharply fanged mollusks washing up on the shores of local beaches. Colloquially being referred to as clamheads, these creatures appear to be aggressive and territorial. Local EMTs recount an unfortunate string of clamhead attacks endured by early morning joggers. I don't know, but these things have an appetite for toes, I can tell you that much, said one paramedic from nearby Dominican hospital. Beachgoers are being advised to be on the lookout for clamheads and to wear closed-toed shoes when walking along the shoreline. Indicators of clamhead presence on the beach may include shifting sands, rapid chattering noises, and shrill screaming. Ministry researchers have detected a high concentration of radionuclides in the surrounding waters. This has been a public service announcement from the Ministry of Latent Places.
Clamheads from the beaches of Santa Cruz. This is so cool. A carnivorous clam. I'm pretty sure other mollusks, maybe including clams, are carnivorous. I am not too sure. You are going to have to fact check that. Do not believe that as fact. But I believe they are or have the capabilities of being carnivorous. I've never actually eaten a clam, so let me know down below what it actually tastes like, because I'm very afraid to try one.
Appalachian goat folk. Our researchers have made contact with a small community of humanoid bovidae in Pennsylvania. These peaceful and friendly creatures were discovered deep within a complicated network of caves along the base of the Appalachian Mountains. They appear to have unique religious practices, a complex social structure, and a developed spoken language. The language mixes goat-like bleating with Germanic linguistic elements. Please respect the privacy of the goat folk and do not attempt to establish your own contact. This has been a public service announcement from the Ministry of Latent Places.
Wow, goat folk. They are a thriving community. and they have their own language, they have their own social structures, they have their own religious beliefs. I think they're quite like a little peaceful community of goat people.
Heather witches. This coven of veiled metalurgist women reside in the Heather Woods near Montauk, New York, practicing an astrologically focused form of eclectic Wicca. The Heather witches find spiritual fulfillment in the stars and their elemental properties. They believe that the Mother Goddess forged all precious metals in a heavenly furnace and that these materials as found on Earth are holy relics. For this reason, Heather witches place special focus on the creation and exhibition of fine jewelry. Self-forged chains and ornaments adorn their wardrobe and hang from their shrines. These pieces represent a deep connection to the stars, Earth, and entirety of the universe. Their veils are thought to encourage a collective connection to their surroundings and the souls of one another. Ministry researchers suspect that the coven has access to a hidden network of caves that lead to private ore veins. The Heather witches have no desire to leave their humble wooded home despite their high net worth. This has been a public service announcement from the Ministry of Latent Places.
Heather witches. When I saw this, I was like... I immediately thought of these creatures from Doctor Who, the episode Race Against the Sun. But yeah, the Heather witches are a group of witches who practice their magic and they live in caves and enjoy their solitude with each other.
Little guys. These little guys have been spotted sneaking through homes in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Using the cover of night, little guys are known to break into residences with the sole intent of rearranging the belongings of the occupants. Upon completion of their midnight mission, little guys retreat into walls, floorboards, and ventilation systems to rest and wait for residents to wake. It is thought that little guys gain sustenance from the confusion of humans. As occupants become increasingly baffled by the misplacement of their property, little guys become energized and prepare to target another household. Once fully rested, they promptly relocate and the mischievous cycle is continued. Little guys are notoriously difficult to spot and even harder to capture untrained. Seen here stopped in their tracks, little guys will almost always freeze if they sense detection. This behavior is thought to be a poorly developed defense mechanism. This has been a public service announcement from the Ministry of Latent Places.
He's just a little guy. Oh, look at them. They are cute and mischievous, and their fight or flight or freeze is a mechanism that they haven't quite honed in on yet, bless.
Wow, that's another Latent Places video, guys. Episode 3, I think we're on now. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps my channel a lot, more than you know, and it shares me to other like-minded people like yourselves. I hope you guys have a good time, and I'll see you next time. Bye!